The anime Reincarnated as a sword introduces us to an unnamed man who tragically loses his life in a car accident. However, his story doesn't end there as he reincarnates into a new world as a magical sword. With his newfound existence, he discovers that he possesses telekinesis, enabling him to fly and acquire new skills by slaying monsters. Determined to become the most powerful sword in the world and awaiting his destined wielder, the man, now transformed into the sword, embarks on a quest to slay monsters. Meanwhile, in a different part of the world, we are introduced to Fran, a black cat girl who lives as an abused slave but dreams of achieving greatness. As the man-turned-sword gains numerous skills and formidable warrior abilities, he finds himself venturing into a forest where touching the ground drains his magic to zero, rendering him unable to fly. Trapped in this situation for months, he faces a seemingly insurmountable challenge. Amidst this, the humans who hold ownership over Fran are suddenly attacked by a fearsome bear monster. Witnessing her fellow slaves being mercilessly slaughtered, Fran desperately seeks a way to help and spots the sword, which she names Sword. Touching the sword's handle, a telepathic connection is formed between them, allowing Sword to communicate with Fran. Furthermore, this connection reinvigorates his ability to fly. Empowered by the sword's skills and guidance, Fran evolves into a formidable warrior, easily defeating the bear monster with the aid of Sword. However, her owner demands that she surrender the powerful weapon. When he begins to harm Fran, Sword, driven by anger, takes matters into his own hands, killing the owner and freeing Fran from her oppressive slave contract. Grateful for her liberation and recognizing Sword as her teacher, Fran agrees to become his wielder. This decision aligns with her aspiration to achieve a level of evolution that no black cat has ever attained before. In honor of their newfound partnership, Fran bestows the name Teacher upon the sword. Determined to protect Fran at all costs, Teacher dedicates his new life to ensuring her safety. Fran continues her journey alongside her newfound partner, Teacher. Their adventures take an interesting turn as Fran comes to the rescue of an adventurer named Randall who is caught in a goblin ambush. However, Teacher keeps his sentience a secret and communicates with Fran exclusively through telepathy. Their path leads them to Alessa town, where they visit the Adventurer Guild. Nell, the receptionist with a hidden dark side, informs Fran that she must undergo a battle simulation to prove her skills. The examiner for this test is Donadron, a powerful Oni. Combining their sword skills with magic, Fran and Teacher impressively demonstrate their abilities, much to the surprise of Nell, who notes that such a feat should be impossible unless Fran had two brains. Donadron happily admits defeat, acknowledging Fran's strength and skill. As a result, Guildmaster Klimt accepts Fran as a sword mage, recognizing her unique talents. Fran decides to sell some of her loot, earning a significant fortune. This catches the attention of nearby mercenaries, who become jealous of her newfound wealth. Believing that a black cat could only be a thief and a liar, they pick a fight with Fran. However, Nell, who has developed a liking for Fran, steps in to defend her. Outraged by their insults towards the black cat species, Fran unleashes her true power, severing the legs of the lead mercenary while easily defeating the others. The mercenaries demand that Fran be arrested, but Nell and the guild adventurers side with Fran, recognizing it as an act of self-defense. They find the lead mercenary a hefty sum of 100,000 gold. Nell reveals her dark side by refusing to heal the mercenary's legs until he pays the fine, showcasing her determination to stand up for Fran. Realizing they need a place to stay for the night and armor for Fran, Teacher guides them to make suitable arrangements. Meanwhile, a dwarf adventurer with the highest level appraisal skill, Godsight, becomes fully aware that Teacher is a living and intelligent sword. This dwarf, possessing unique knowledge, observes Fran and Teacher's journey with keen interest. Fran's journey takes an exciting turn as she receives an invitation from Garrus, the renowned wandering blacksmith of Granzo. Garrus, known for being incredibly selective when it comes to selling his equipment, invites Fran to his shop, sparking jealousy among other adventurers who desire his creations. At Garrus' shop, Fran sells some of her loot and purchases enchanted armor tailored specifically for her. Teacher, plagued by doubts about his own strength compared to other swords, expresses his concerns. Intrigued by Teacher's presence, Garrus inquires about him. However, Garrus reveals a crucial piece of information. What truly makes Teacher powerful is his ultra-high mana conductivity. The more magic Fran infuses into him, the more formidable he becomes. Garrus acknowledges that he lacks the skill to forge a sword like Teacher, suggesting that Teacher could only have been crafted by a divine blacksmith. Recognizing Teacher's potential, Garrus agrees to craft a scabbard for him and provides Fran with additional equipment. To make the necessary preparations, Fran and Teacher set out to acquire more clothes, food, and a room for their stay. Meanwhile, in another part of the world, the surviving goblins that previously ambushed Randall undergo a transformation, evolving into more powerful creatures known as hobgoblins. As Fran takes on her first official quest, which involves herb gathering, she encounters 3 adventurers named Lily, Krull, and Eustace. However, their mission takes a dangerous turn when they come face to face with the evolved hobgoblins. Demonstrating her incredible prowess, Fran swiftly defeats the hobgoblins, rescuing the adventurers from certain peril. The adventurers express their concerns about the hobgoblins' presence, as it indicates the recent evolution of a goblin king. The goblin king will seek out a goblin queen, and their offspring will form a formidable hobgoblin army that could potentially pose a threat to Alessa City and its inhabitants. Determined to eliminate the looming threat, Fran resolves to destroy the hobgoblin nest alone. However, Teacher becomes increasingly worried as Fran throws herself into battle recklessly, disregarding the injuries she sustains. Fran's quest to become stronger and protect Alessa City continues as she single-handedly eliminates all the goblins present, driven by her determination to grow even more powerful. With the defeated goblins as evidence, Fran and the adventurers return to the guild with reinforcements, revealing that the goblins originated from a nearby dungeon. Guild Master Klimt takes charge and organizes a party to raid the dungeon the following day. Impressed by Fran's strength and accomplishments, he promotes her within the guild. In the meantime, Garrus repairs Fran's armor and reveals that dungeon masters like the goblins are empowered by the goddess of chaos herself. In a lighthearted moment, Fran brings Teacher with her to the bathhouse, much to his embarrassment. However, Nell, the receptionist with a stern demeanor, reprimands Fran for bringing a weapon into the establishment. Nell explains that the goddess of chaos brings challenges to the world in the form of dungeon masters to prevent stagnation and encourage growth. Delving deeper into the world's lore, Nell reveals that the god of war was an evil deity who was eventually slain by other gods. However, before his demise, the god of war created goblins and other monstrous creatures. She also mentions Amanda, the guild's ace adventurer, who is currently on a journey but is desired to return to aid them. The next day arrives, and Garrus presents Teacher with his completed scabbard, a symbol of their bond and Fran's growing strength. Fran joins the party led by Donadron, a powerful warrior, as they venture towards the dungeon. However, the goblins launch a surprise ambush at the dungeon entrance, resulting in several casualties among the adventurers. In the midst of the chaos, Fran valiantly fights back, eliminating multiple goblins and clearing a path to enter the dungeon. Inside the dungeon, Fran encounters a gloating goblin who reveals that with the monster it has just summoned, the Goblin Empire believes themselves to be invincible. Fran and Teacher face a formidable challenge as they delve deeper into the dungeon and confront the Goblin King and Queen. To their surprise, the encounter with the Goblin King and Queen ends swiftly with a single attack, showcasing Fran and Teacher's overwhelming power. They realize that the dungeon extends further and continue their exploration, encountering a swarm of giant beetles along the way. Fierce battles ensue as Fran and Teacher fight their way through, showcasing their exceptional combat prowess. As they progress, they stumble upon a hidden door, leading them to a shocking revelation: the presence of the Dungeon Master, an intelligent goblin who has managed to summon a high-level greater demon. The Dungeon Master proudly boasts about his plan to take over the world with his powerful servant. However, the demon, despite being under the Dungeon Master's control, warns him not to give him orders and initiates an attack against Fran. The greater demon proves to be a formidable opponent, surpassing any enemy Fran and Teacher have faced thus far. In a fierce battle, Fran suffers a severe injury, losing her hands. However, Teacher quickly heals her wounds, showcasing his unwavering support and care for Fran's well-being. Meanwhile, the rest of the party struggles to breach the door and come to Fran's aid. Despite the dire situation, Teacher urges Fran to retreat, recognizing the overwhelming strength of their opponent. However, Fran refuses to back down and bravely continues the fight against the powerful demon. The intense battle against the greater demon and the Dungeon Master reaches its climax. The Dungeon Master, eager to aid the demon, attempts to provide assistance, but the demon adamantly refuses his help, demonstrating a hint of his rebellious nature. Teacher recalls that a Dungeon Master's summons cannot survive without their summoner, and devises a strategy. He instructs Fran to focus her attacks on the Dungeon Master, forcing the demon to protect him. Following Teacher's guidance, Fran hurls him at the Dungeon Master. However, in a surprising turn of events, the demon attempts to catch Teacher but unexpectedly changes direction, impaling himself on Teacher's blade. The demon meets his demise, and in the process, Teacher's sword is broken. In a moment of despair, Fran believes Teacher to be dead, only for him to reveal that he can repair himself by absorbing the demon's crystal, showcasing yet another astonishing ability. With the demon defeated, Fran and Teacher turn their attention to the Dungeon Master. They deliver a decisive blow, causing the dungeon to dissipate, putting an end to its existence. The rest of the party congratulates Fran for her victory, but Donadron scolds her for venturing off on her own and not waiting for the group. However, Teacher's reassuring presence and promise to make her curry alleviate Fran's worries. In a surprising revelation, Teacher discloses that he has acquired the Skill Taker ability through the experience gained from defeating the demon. He uses his newfound power to maximize Skill Taker and his own sword skills, further enhancing their combat capabilities.